aside maybe 30 minutes or an hour a day of researching people in the industry, and maybe you just comment on their stuff for 30 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day, whatever you have time as an artist to do. You set aside that time, and you don't be, cheeky about it. You're genuine whenever you're commenting on
Right.
people's stuff, and you provide value in the comment even. Not just like, oh, this is a great post. Like, okay, thank you still. But like, if you can provide some real in-depth comments on stuff, like, people love that.
Yeah, it's good, dude.
Yeah.
That's good.
So at what point were you, like, how long have you been doing music full time?
Full time, not really until, I mean, full time income wise, not until this past couple of years, but full time in terms of how much time I'm putting in. Honestly, man, since I was like 18, I'm 31 now. Um, but there's different seasons to that. There's different projects that I've been involved in. Hylynd has been the last 2.5 years. Um, and it felt like I got up to the 2 year mark with other people doing projects, and then it would, uh, dissipate just because if people, I've realized like it feels like the 2 year mark for people is like if they've invested into something and they don't see it blow up in 2 years, a lot of times they just quit. Um, that's just been my observation. But I think if you can keep on with it though, uh, you know, I think it's a really good sign. Um, so yeah, man, full time since that. But I've had the dream since I was a kid. Honestly, man. Uh, so when I say a long process, I really mean a long process.
At what point, like, what was that turning point? So about a couple years ago, what was the turning point for you where you got to quit your day job or your other job and start doing music full time?
Man, I'd say when I moved to Dallas, because there was just more opportunities. Now I live in Houston, but yeah, man, I feel like just Texas in general there's a lot of opportunities. Like, and people are willing to pay money for entertainment. Um, More so here than I've seen other places I've lived. And Texas is in an interesting place because people think Texas, they think cowboy, and they think like really red state, but all the cities are blue. so, um, uh, and that's where you want to be.
Okay, nice. So a couple years ago, you make this transition, but you were just talking about your journey too.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually is a perfect segue into the next section of working our way backwards in your story. So we know your
Right.
numbers and we know you work full time in the music business, but it all had to start somewhere. So walk us through a bit more of that story. What first got you started with music?
Um, when I was so I played drums since I was 2 years old. Just started, and my mom and dad just like tried to, I think, cultivate. They didn't push me in anything music. I just went there, and I think they did their best to cultivate me going after it. When I was 5, I saw this. Uh, I went to this concert, and from there on, I feel like I had this imagery in my mind of like what I wanted to do with my life. Um, churches. I've gone in and out of church. Just it's not. There's pros and cons to being an artist inside the church. And when I was growing up, though, it really was a great like you could go sing on a Sunday and just work out that muscle of performing uh and singing in front of people. So that was a great avenue for me. And then when I was early teens, I started to do like singing competitions and things like that. Started to play at like some clubs as I and inch closer to like 16, 17, 18. Then I joined a band at that time. We toured some and did some cool stuff. And then and then that kind of broke up, and then went through like a couple year lull, and then got involved in another band. And that was fun too. Learned a whole lot, but that dissipated as well, just because the people were, just getting closer and closer to like their late 20s and trying to figure life out, and so they just felt like that was the thing. And then enter Hylynd, where I was like, man, I feel like I have a singular vision for what I want to create for people, and it's totally fine that it's just me. I still want a band, but what I'll do is I'll hire people out and create it, like make it feel like a band. The biggest thing for me, man, is I've wanted to have a community of people that I run with, and I've found that I can still have that, and I don't have to call it a band. I don't have to make them a part of the everyday process with me. I can just bring them in, to what I'm doing, and it's just been so much healthier for me to do that. Because again, I don't really like the idea of being a solo artist. In the sense that what I'm doing is just me. I've always wanted it to feel like we're a group of people doing something dope. So that's what I've been cultivating with Hylynd. You'll rarely see me perform without like a drummer, a synth player, and or a guitar player. And that's where I vibe the best anyways. So yeah, man, that's just been my thing. What I have done recently is instead of being gone for 2-3 weeks at a time, I've been playing like spot dates. So I'll do like 1 or 2 shows a month, and there's pros and cons to it. The con is that you don't get into this rhythm of like, oh, I've been doing this tour for 2 weeks and now I'm in a rhythm. The pro to it though is I get to play and then reevaluate for a week or two and go like, what was working, what didn't work, what could be better, and then I have time to create an even better show for the next time around. So I've just been doing spot dates. This weekend I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina, and September I'm doing some stuff in Tennessee, but not with Hylynd, and then October I'll be in Los Angeles. And so anyways, with my life, it allows me to, I don't have to uproot everything, my like stability for 3 weeks at this moment, and then come back home and not have a job, right? So I love the idea of spot dates for where I'm at right now.
How are you booking your shows? What are you finding that's working the best? And are these paid shows? Are you selling merchandise at them?
Yeah, I usually either get like a set amount that I'm upfront, or that we just decide on no matter what, or I just take a cut of the door. And then the Charlotte show is a cut. It's 70% of the door, and so it puts fire under my belt to promote it well. And so I'll definitely make a decent amount there. Then obviously merch, which I take I take a small amount that I know I can sell out of. That's not going to charge me more than a bag to carry. Just with flying. And then I'm thinking about your question. So that's what I do. Sorry, what was your question one more time?
No, I mean we were talking about how are you booking the tours?
How am I booking? Oh, right. So a lot of them are either me on my own or my management having some form of contact with the city. I'll also use my Spotify analytics to back that up. Like, hey, I got 600 listeners in Atlanta, Georgia. Probably be pretty good. So that's an in there. And then I was working with a booking agency that has since dissolved, but I kept up with one of the booking agents involved in that company, and she's been booking stuff for me as well. That I just give her like a set amount for booking the show, and so that can work too.
So when you're pitching these venues, is that what you lead with like those analytics? Like you have your Spotify analytics in hand, and you're you're showing them, XYZ venue and your social numbers and saying, here's our past experience and here's what we know we can produce.
Yes. And there's a selling point to that. I don't know exactly how many people I can bring to Charlotte, but I know a roundabout. I know a guesstimate. And, I back that up, again with the analytics, and then also just to show history of, a couple of my videos are live videos. Like, hey, you can see me play live. I can bring it just like the record. And so I purposely did a couple videos live so that people would see that in booking. I've got like a concept music video, got 2 of those out, but I think the live thing is important too, people seeing you play live.
So you said that you bring merch that that you can probably sell out. What strategy are you using to sell your merch?
Well, I don't believe in gimmicky merch in the sense of I want everybody to really know it's a Hylynd shirt. I think fashion first. I think like, do I want to wear this day? Like, do I want to take this t-shirt out of my closet and wear it and be proud of it and not feel like I'm like just advertising something? So for me, like, Hylynd is pretty small in the t-shirt. And yeah, just making it like I love fashion. So paying attention to what's happening, and just making fashion merch versus like promo merch, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think unless an artist is really good at design or they get a designer or something, then I'd probably go more the fashion route, because I have to really like an artist to just wear their shirt that just has their name on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
100.
What I've seen work best is usually another songwriter was on here on the show, and he was talking about just the shirt telling a story. So he connects it with a story, and that helps him sell his merch. So whatever's working for you, we like to give the people some different ideas, because maybe they go to a show and they don't sell any merch. They might sell
right.
2 shirts.
Well, yeah, and you've got to be able to talk about it. I have it on my like an online store. I pump it through Instagram, and the more you can make people feel like this is a limited run of something, get exclusivity in an effort to create inclusivity. Making a product that's exclusive is actually really important. So I pump it, and then I talk live about it. I'm like, make sure you come. Also make it to where like people are like, come say hey, and where I'm at to say hey at is the merch table. So people, come there, they see your products, and sometimes they buy it.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've gone over those strategies, what are you going to be looking at towards the future? Like, what are your marketing plans, let's say in the next 6 months to a year, to grow your brand?
So I'm definitely going to be releasing more singles. I'm going to be doing some really cool visual concept stuff with the music. I'm going to continue to play live. I'm going to continue to grow the sync licensing. I'm going to continue to work out strategies to increase the streaming. I'm going to collab with other artists, because that's something I haven't done enough of yet. I'm going to continue to write with different people that I come in contact with. I have trouble working on something that I don't know if it's going to be a thing or not, but I'm realized that can exist in your process of music in the music industry, because a lot of stuff you so into, you just don't know when you so into it, and sometimes it can surprise you what really works. So that's my strategy over the next year. So definitely going to increase the content. I'm also thinking about starting like a music podcast. because people, there's more and more of a hunger